The title up there is Gifts for Mom. Now I have to admit I had another title, which I decided was maybe not quite as good as this one. It was Gifts for Yo Mama. But I changed it to Gifts for Mama. And usually we give flowers and a Mother's Day card, and candy, and those type of things for Mother's Day. Now this morning my wife came to me and she said, where's my Mother's Day card? And I said, I'm sorry, I forgot to get one. She said, well, yeah, you bought one. I said, I did? She said, yeah, you bought it a couple weeks ago. It's over there on the counter. I said, well, I don't remember. She said, yeah, you bought it. I'll be bringing it to you so you can sign it. I said, okay. So she brought me her Mother's Day card so I could sign it and give it back to her. So I guess I did buy it. I don't remember even now. I have a hesitant that thinking maybe she actually bought it for me. I don't know. But I ended up giving her one that I did not know I had. So anyway, the other day I saw on TV people talking about what the good gifts for Mother's Day would be. And then I saw on internet, I looked up what are gifts mothers want. And the one that I saw here, which seemed to be similar to most of them, was the most thing mothers wanted would be time alone. And this young mother, I suspect, on TV, they asked her, without mentioning this, just asked, what do you want for Mother's Day? She said, I want to be left alone. Just leave me alone. Let me sleep in. Leave me alone. Don't bother me. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to rest all day. Well, it turned out that's what this one said here. Time alone. But now the other one seemed to conflict with number two seemed to conflict with number one, the time with the kids. And I thought, well, how can you have time with the kids and time alone at the same time? But it turned out when it said time for the kids, it wasn't when they have little kids. It's when they're older and they want to see their kids. Want the kids come over and say hi and see these are grown-up kids now, so not little kids running around. When the kids are running around, then they want to be left alone, but as they get older, they just want to see their kids. And then the next two seem to conflict too. Number three was to go out and eat, dining out. So, okay, that makes sense. But number four was a home-cooked meal. So how do you have both? I don't know. Home-cooked. I want to go out. I want a home-cooked meal. So I don't know. Now, Nathan, my son, he used to laugh at restaurants who advertise home-cooked food. And he would say, if I wanted home-cooked food, I would eat at home. I'm going out to a restaurant. I want to eat out, Anyway, number five was a clean house. A relaxing spa treatment was number six. Peace and quiet. Getting to sleep or take a nap, and a clean car. So those are the list of things people said they wanted for Mother's Day. The best gift we give to our mothers is to be the kind of person that she can be proud of. That's the best gift to give. Develop a character that your mom can be proud of. But not just your mom, but type of character that your ancestors can be proud of. The kind of character that those who have gone on before generation after generation to be developed to become the kind of man or woman of faith, courage, and discipline. That's the best gift to give. Develop yourself to be the kind of person that can be a noble person, someone who can build character and be a person of strength and faith. Now, I mentioned this before. I had somebody ask me a while back, if you could have anything you want, Pastor Rob, what would it be? And they thought I might say a new car or something like that. I said, the greatest gift that I could have would be all my children and my children's children love and serve the Lord. That's the greatest gift a parent can have, a Christian parent. A non-Christian parent may give a different answer. I'm aware of that. But for a Christian parent, the greatest gift, the greatest desire they want is that their children will love and serve the Lord. If you heard it said before, life is a gift given to you but what you do with your life is a gift you give back to God. Because our life is a lifetime of learning. We go to school, and we maybe go to kindergarten, if we're in public school, but even home schools have different grade levels. Then you graduate from kindergarten, and then you go to grade school, and you're there in grade school. Then you graduate and go to junior high. Then you graduate and go to high school, and then you graduate from high school and maybe go to college. But life, there's never a graduation in life. There's never a graduation. Now, Pastor Burke, Craig's father, says about his wife, dear wife, got a graduation or promotion. But in life, there's never a graduation because we're always learning. We should always be in the process of learning and improving ourselves. And the biggest factor in all of that, way I see it anyway, is choosing the right friends. They're your character and everything you become, this gift you're giving to your ancestors, everything you become really hinges at that turning point. Picking the right friends. It's not always easy, because sometimes the wrong friends seem like the ones that are the most fun. And so we seem to think they're going to be more fun. I want to hang out with them. And yet, so often, those are the ones at tiny increment levels begin to alter your pathway. And the red flags aren't always there. I recall as a child, about 8 or 10 years old, and I don't know anything behind it. I just know at one point, I guess about 10 or 12 years old, my parents told me, we don't want you hanging out with that boy. And I have no idea why to this very day. I don't know why. They said, we just don't want you hanging out with that boy. And I don't know why. But choosing friends is very important. We can't always pick friends. We need to kind of look and see what's going on. Maybe listen to advice of people that are older, saying, follow my advice. You may not understand it. Follow my advice. Now, I have on screen a verse from Proverbs. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friends. And it works both ways. The friends you pick can make you a better person, or they can destroy you. Not immediately, but soon. It can lead you down the wrong pathway. And yet, young people have a hard time really determining that, because they don't see the end of the pathway. They don't see the conclusion of the pathway. And some old woman or some old guy who somehow, because they're old, don't have the respect that they should have, gives some advice, and they just discount it. They discount because they don't understand the conclusion of the pathway. So friends can either sharpen you, make you a better person, or they can begin destroying your soul. And it's in small increments, you don't even see it. You're totally unaware of it. And then we have Proverbs 1:10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Quite often people know, they know that the person with may not be really the kind of character they really need to be around, but sometimes they just overlook that because they're a nice guy or a nice girl. And so he's given warning that you can be enticed. Enticement is really kind of an odd thing, because enticement is something you know is wrong, but you're enticed by it anyway. Somebody once said, I can resist everything but temptation. And it's kind of interesting. All right, then in Proverbs 19:20, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. And the New International Version, says, listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end, you'll be counted among the wise. Wisdom is something that you can't get it in school. Wisdom is something you just have to, it's a gift from the Lord. Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Be picked so often. Pick the wrong kind of people to be around. Now, my mom and dad, not to boast on them, but their character was certainly worth admiring in my eyes. Their circle of friends were always Christian people. They did not have a circle of friends who were non-Christians. I'm not saying they were unfriendly to non-Christians, certainly not. But those they brought into the circle, they had into our home, you might say, for dinner, for whatever activity, maybe to play a board game or whatever the point may be. The people they brought into our circle of my family were always Christian people. And those are the only people that influenced my life. And they're wise in understanding that. And yet sometimes, as we get older, people expand a circle without that guiding influence. And that circle can then harm us. It can destroy us. Walking with wise men will make you wise, but a companion of fools will destroy you. And then Proverbs 14:7. Depart from the presence of a foolish man when you see that he does not possess wisdom or knowledge. That's not always easy to do because we created, remember my sermon a few weeks ago? Emotion trumps logic every time. Sometimes we get emotionally attached to a friend. They're our friend, they're our buddy. And we have a hard time then saying, wait a minute, this friend of mine does not give good counsel. I look at him, and look at his life, look what he talks about, look at his conversations, look at the words he uses, look at all these things in life, look at his goals in life, what he wants to achieve, look at all these things that influence his life, and we come to the conclusion, this person is not going in the direction I want to go in my life. And yet they're a friend. And to walk away from that sometimes is difficult. And yet we're told we need to do that. We need to depart ourselves from those people. And that goes for any age of us. This message here really isn't just about us as being at home in a relationship to our mom, but it's a relationship to our moms have gone on for generations before us. And we want those who've gone on before us to be proud of their descendants, which would be us. So, the size of one's biceps, the depths of a man's voice, or the kind of car he drives, or how big of a steak he makes, doesn't make a man. Although those are usually the things that are assumed examples of manhood. And all these things may be impressive, but they have nothing to do with manhood. They contribute nothing to the Lord's work. Any more than a girl winning the beauty contest. That's nice. It's nice, but it contributes nothing to the Lord's work. Everything we do really should be, does this advance love of race and nation? Or does it only satisfy my own personal desires, my own personal ego, and the things I like to do? It's fun. A few weeks ago, I saw on TV a segment in the news discussing what they call, I don't know the name of it, but boot camp for men. And men were paying $10,000 to attend a program to make them into men. You know, and in preparation for this message, I read an article about that group and this camp, boot camp for men. And to me, maybe I'm wrong, but to me it seemed to attract mainly men with low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. And I'm not necessarily being critical of that because or mocking that because people with low self-esteem, and there are some people with low self-esteem, they need something to put value to their life. So I'm not going to knock somebody. If you have low self-esteem, I'm not going to knock them down or push them down. I'm not mocking them for going to this boot camp for that regard, because people with low self-esteem do need something to lift them up and encourage them and let them know their life is of value. But this boot camp had all kinds of things that make you into a man, that you could dive in the mud and carry logs on your shoulder and do all kinds of manly things and beat your chest. I sometimes joke with kids. I say, men like to sweat and stink and get dirty, and we like it that way. And it's actually kind of sort of true, And but a young woman that was on the set of this news program, they asked her what she thought about this boot camp for men. And she said, they got it all wrong. They've got it all wrong. Sure, they may be tough, but that is not being a man, she said. The foundation of manhood is accepting your responsibility to your family, the responsibility for the care of your wife and your children. See, that's what makes a man. Someone understands the responsibility that he embraces to his wife and his kids and the family. That's what makes a man, not how much he can grunt. And yet sometimes people attribute those things to being manhood is all about. Across the words of our church here, when you come into the foyer, we have, I'm sure you've noticed it, you probably don't see it every week, but occasionally you probably look up there. We have 4 words: loyalty, honor, courage, and duty. And developing the 4 attributes is the best gift a child can give to his mother and his mother's mother and his mother's mother, going back 1,000 generations. It developed a character of loyalty, honor, courage, and duty. But consider this is a gift we give to our mothers and fathers for 1,000 generations. So I'm not just looking at saying a gift to your mom, but for your moms and your dads, going back for generations upon generations to build the kind of character that our ancestors know we need to survive as a people. We are told in the 5th commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land. So we're going to look at some characteristics here of that a child needs to develop. And I've got several. Honor I've got down here. Honor is doing the right thing, especially when it's difficult, to act with integrity and without compromise. That's the kind of persons we need to be. That's the kind of person the Lord wants us to be. And I remember seeing a movie on TV a number of years ago. And I can't remember all the details about the movie. It's been a long time. But one part did stand out. The movie was about 2 young men in Germany. I think their age was about 15 or 16 years old, and they were friends. One of them understood the message of being taught to them of love of nation, blood and soil. And he joined, the cause for Germany's revival. And because he said, it's the honorable thing to do. It's the honor to die for your people and your nation. And the other boy didn't see it that way. But the end of the movie, this young boy said, it's the honor to die for your nation and your people. The end of the movie showed the boy dead. And 2 men standing over him. And one said to him, he said it's an honor to die. He said, well, there he is dead. Where did honor get him? What a wasted life. And that's the end of the movie. I thought, really? That's the message they're telling us, that the fight for honor is a life that is wasted? But according to this movie, that was the case. What a wasted life. Becoming a person of honor is a gift we can give all our mothers going back 1,000 generations, having honor. Another note I have here is courage. the strength to face adversity and danger, not just on the battlefield, but in life's everyday battles, doing what is necessary. There are certain things you do just because it's necessary. You don't want to do it. You're tired. At the end of the day, you don't want it, but you just got to do it. That takes courage to do that. So becoming a person of courage is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Another note is integrity. Integrity is our moral compass that guides one towards truth and accountability. People with integrity don't choose those things which are gray. They see the difference between right and wrong. There's not a gray world. It's a world we choose right or we choose wrong. That's integrity. And becoming a person of integrity is a gift we can give to all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Humility. The ability to understand that your self-importance is only in your head. That the grace of the Lord is what gives you your life's value. So we approach life with a humble spirit, knowing that the Lord is what gives us value, not what we think is important in our own lives. Becoming a person of humility is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Responsibility. Understanding and accepting our personal responsibility. When we mess up, we don't blame others. I've seen so many people over the years who do not understand personal responsibility. We are responsible for our actions. We can't blame other people, can't shift the blame. We are responsible. I see people, I don't say I see people, but I hear of people maybe in prison, and they're blaming somebody else. No, you're in prison because of what you did. You can't blame somebody. You can't do that. But we also, in the spiritual world, we kind of all somewhat do the same thing. We hear the idea, well, Satan tempted me. Satan calls me to sin. Satan didn't cause you to sin. Satan didn't tempt you. If you sin, it's because you are a sinner. Don't blame Satan. Everybody want to blame Satan for all the things. Oh, Satan did this, Satan did that. The devil did this. The devil made me do it. We used to see on TV years ago. No. Personal responsibility is you're a sinner. And you commit sin because you are a sinful person. And you need the love of Christ. Chivalry was at one time considered the manner in which a man would treat a woman, such as standing when a woman entered the room or giving a seat to a woman. We see those characteristics not prevalent so much anymore. I'm as guilty as everybody. We're all you men here are guilty of that. When you see a woman come in the room, we don't offer the seat like we should. But they say the same thing can also apply to a woman. When they see an elderly man come into the room, the woman might say, get up and let the old man sit down. Now the old man might say, no, I'm not going to take a seat from a woman. That'll be real chivalry. Loyalty. Unswerving allegiance and support to a righteous cause. Loyalty. A righteous cause that no matter what the consequences may be, and no matter what people may say and the names they call you or whatever the case may be, it's the right thing to do and you can be loyal to it. Becoming a person of loyalty is a gift that we can give to all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Perseverance. It is a pursuit of a worthwhile goal. It's not allowing obstacles get in our way or setbacks to stop us. Regardless of difficulty, regardless of obstacles, regardless of the setbacks, regardless of all the things that go wrong, we're going to persevere because it's the right thing to do. We're going to persevere. And I know everybody here has had times in their life when they persevered. They didn't stop. They persevered. Becoming a person of perseverance is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Stoicism is a quiet strength when enduring pain or hardships. It is what the Apostle Paul identifies as having self-control and a sound and disciplined mind. In today's world, we have kids who whine for no other reason than to get attention, having people watch them whine. A person with stoicism is not seeking attention, but he's seeking self-discipline. Becoming a person with stoicism is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Dignity, the quality of state of being worthy, honored, or esteemed. We should always strive to keep our Christian dignity in our manner of speech, in our conduct. I know sometimes I'll see cartoons on TV, because they come on sometimes. I maybe watch them a little bit. And it'll show some cartoon. It's supposed to be funny, and the cartoon will show some little cartoon character turning around and shaking his butt in the camera. And all the kids, laugh, laugh, laugh. And that's not necessarily a sin, but it's not very dignified. I mean, what would you do if I could pick on your dad for a minute, Craig? How do you think if Pastor Burke came up here to preach and he turned around and wiggled his butt in front of you? That would be horrible. If we had some preacher do that. And yet we're tend to think that's really funny to see. And so little kids mimic that. They mimic that. Becoming a person with dignity is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Generosity. Being generous is a sign of a gentleman or a lady, a sign of kindness and humility. We need to be generous with people, kind with people. When somebody gives you a service, it doesn't hurt to show some kindness to them. Maybe remember them with a tip or a bonus or something. And it doesn't hurt to do that. Same with giving a tip at a restaurant. It doesn't hurt to leave a little bonus for your mail carrier. Or if you're at Hudson's Grocery and they carry out your groceries sometimes, it doesn't hurt to give $1 to the person who carries it out. It's not going to break you, but it shows appreciation. And becoming a generous person is a gift we can give to our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Wisdom. Wisdom is something you don't learn in the classroom. You can learn knowledge, but you can't learn wisdom. Wisdom and sound judgment comes from the Lord. Those who seek wisdom from the Lord will not be turned away. A wise man, woman, or child will patiently listen to sound wisdom given from a godly man or a godly woman. They'll patiently listen and see if there's some wisdom in what they're saying. They won't just shut them off because of this, that, the other. They'll listen. Now, if I'm not saying you listen to the person who is down on a homeless person down in Skid Row, begging for money at Walmart, but somebody who had displayed a lifetime of sound judgment and wisdom, take time to listen to that and see if there's something there for your own life. Becoming a person of wisdom is a gift we can give all our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. Racial loyalty is found in the 5th commandment. We read that at the beginning. Honoring your father and your mother. There's no honor to your fathers, your mothers, your ancestors to destroy your race, to destroy their heritage, to destroy their bloodline. There's no honor in that. To honor them means you keep those things which they had and passed on to their children and their children and their children. There are people today who have had their bloodline, their heritage passed down for 1,000 generations. And in a moment, they destroy it all. In a moment, they destroy it all. This fifth commandment is the only commandment that comes with a promise. All the others are just saying, don't do this, or there's just commandments. The fifth commandment is the only one that has a promise attached to it. And the promise is, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land that the Lord hath given you. We've been given this wonderful land, America. Our forefathers carved a wonderful nation out of this land. They settled there in New England and Jamestown, and they moved across the prairies, across the Mississippi, across it all the way to California and Oregon. And they built a wonderful, great nation, something that we inherited. Nothing we did, we inherited a great nation because of what our forefathers did before us. And now we see it being shattered and destroyed within a matter of a generation or two. There's no loyalty. There's no racial loyalty. It's total and complete disobedience to the fifth commandment, which says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land. Becoming a person that displays racial loyalty is a gift we can give to our mothers and fathers going back 1,000 generations. It will ensure our days we are long upon the land the Lord has given us. This is a closed word of prayer. Our Father, we ask that you help develop in us all the characteristics that will make us a man and a woman of nobility. We're the sons and daughters of a great heritage, of a great culture, of a great people. And yet so often we discount that. We don't value our lives. We treat our lives as though they're cheap, even though we're told that our lives are bought with the blood of Jesus. We treat our lives as though they're cheap. We see people in the streets, and we see how easily they destroy their lives, how easily they ruin their lives. Father, help us be strong and courageous. Help us embrace all the characteristics that you created to build men and women of character. May that be our gift we give to all those generations before us. We may be strong and proud and loyal and courageous and do our duty. In your name we ask it. Amen.
Because